Welcome to Web Harris for this. The final of the T20 clashes for Premier Grade before the semi-finals, and this Redland Tigers are taking on the University of Queensland Blues. The Blues are lost to the Scorchers yesterday afternoon, trying to ride that up. They had a good win this morning in second grade. This afternoon's commentary, none other than former club captain and coach, and that's Dave Grogan. And with us, he's injured, but he's back, and that's Jack Clayton. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Look, this should be a crackerjack game. As we know, T20 games, anyone can really win it on there, Dave.
Good afternoon, Jack. Good afternoon, everyone who's watching the game today out there. Whatever part of the world you're in, John, you must be going global these days. Jack, I saw you batting the nets just before. The ankle seems to be coming along well, which is good news.
Yeah, not too bad. Should be back in a week or two. So hopefully this week back into a bit of running and sprinting, and then we'll see if I'm back for the 2 days. But hopefully we can make the semis here and I can be back for that semi-final.
On that note, Jack, this is a critical game because if Uni don't win this one, you could just about kiss the semis goodbye. Looking at the ladder, I see there's a couple of critical fixtures as well today. Norths and I believe the Gold Coast is a key game. But
West and Sunny Coast as well. It's going to be a big game to see how that plays out as well. But yeah, definitely a huge game for us. Losing yesterday to the Sunny Coast was a big loss, and the table's so tight at the moment that any team can really, from the top six, can make the finals at the moment.
And Sunshine Coast are undefeated. So it's Nick Sale opening the bowling for Uni. Bowling his left arm orthodox. He's coming from the river end and no run. Jack, this batsman on strike.
Smith?
We don't have the numbers on the backs of the Redlands team.
This is Smith on strike at the moment. He'll probably play a bit more of a supporting role where Howes will probably try and hit the boundary. I think Smith will just look to rotate the strike in the first 6 overs.
Well, he got 67 not out yesterday, so he should be seeing him well as he pushes one into that vacant mid-wicket region and picks up a leisurely single. Sale once again. Started off with a good line. Yeah, I spoke to Nick Sale before the game, and the boys were a little bit, more than a little bit disappointed with yesterday. Just didn't quite get into the fixture. Leaked a lot of runs.
Dropped 2 catches, I think, as well, which never helps in a T20 match. But I think the disappointing part, Dave, about the game was our batting. We were 3 or 4 for 20 odd in the first 6, and once you lose 3 or 4 in the power play, it makes it really hard to get up from that position. So hopefully with our batting today we can keep a few more wickets in hand in the first 6 and also score a few more runs. A bit of pressure on our top order, I reckon.
Certainly is today, because that was probably the first time this season the top order hasn't filed, and probably the first time this season that either Jack Carty or Michael Phillipson haven't really got some runs, or yourself obviously missing in the top order as well. So that's the end of the first over. Good over by Nick Sale, kept it nice and tight. Smith's on 1, Howes is on 0 still, and after 1 over, Redlands are 1 without loss. On a wicket that's been used quite a bit, the club coach Hamish Gardner was telling me that this strip has really been done to death. I know the fixture before Christmas was played on this, because I remember feeling a little nervous most of the T20 game that my car was going to suffer irreparable damage. Scott Walter from the Union College end, the veteran, the leading club wicket taker, and what a magnificent servant of University Cricket Club he's been.
Yep, very good, Scott. I think he's got 40 odd wickets at 14 this year, so he's been superb for us. I reckon one of his best seasons yet, to be honest, and that's saying a lot with the record that he's got. But geez, he bowled well, especially with the turf ball. As we all know, it doesn't swing around as much, so it'll be raring to go after Christmas when it can't. Oh, that's out.
Oh, miracle and nightmarish dismissal there for Redlands. The opening batsman Liam Smith has struck a delivery from Scott Walter straight back at Scott. He's deflected the ball with his hand back onto the stumps. I dare say intentionally, using the angle to the finest degree. and we see the departure of Howes, who's dismissed for a duck, a very unfortunate duck. So he's very unlucky. And there it is on replay.
Just to start, we wanted there. One for one at the moment in the second over. Here we go. Geez,
Well,
that's unlucky. As a batter, you can't do a lot about that,
No,
can you?
that's right.
Especially
it wasn't
in T20.
And he's only backed up sort of just over a metre. The ball's come back really hard. A lucky deflection from Scott without being disrespectful to Scott's fielding ability, but these things happen. So, as you said, Jack, very good start to Uni. Got the breakthrough early in the second over. Redlands have lost Sam Howes. He's gone for a duck. Liam Smith, the guy who got 67 yesterday, he remains on strike.
Just watching the second grade game before, I reckon the ball was just holding the wicket a tad, so not a surprise to see Saley bowling the first over. It's well bowled.
He looks as though he's coming in with good rhythm, as you'd expect. Someone who's taken 40 wickets this year. I mean, he's an unlikely looking build for a fast bowler, isn't he?
Correct.
He's broad. He's barrel-chested, as they'd say.
He is, but he's bowling fit. As I was saying to John earlier, he just bowls over after over, and he's so consistent. He hardly bowls a bad ball, which makes it really hard for the batter. The incoming batsman, James Bazley, big hitting all-rounder, can hit a big ball. I remember last year playing a two-day game, he hit one over the side screen and down nearly into the river. So important wicket for Uni to get him out early, because he can cause some destruction. Speaking
of destruction, I noticed Andrew Goad, the Valleys captain, certainly enjoyed a day out yesterday with 178 or 9 in a T20 game. I saw the highlights as Scott Walter comes in again. Good length ball. Smith attempting to drive, doesn't quite time it, goes straight to Nick Sale at mid-off.
I reckon that's got to be one of the highest T20 scores in first grade ever, surely. 179.
It was incredible, absolutely incredible. I don't know whether you've had the opportunity to see the highlights, but
yeah,
it was reminiscent of the 100 he got here a couple of years ago, as I recall, where if he's in the groove, there's not too many blokes who can hit the ball cleaner and harder and further than Andrew Goad. So people saw something spectacular yesterday.
He gives them
Scott Walter again slips down the leg side. I don't think there was any bat on that. It's a wide. Must have been well down there if Mitch Fry couldn't cover it. So Smith remains on one. Bazley, James Bazley, who's the number 3 batsman, is on strike.
Does like to strike the ball straight and long, so I reckon if he's in his wheelhouse, he might go here. Oh, it's up.
Short ball by Scott Walter. Got a top edge, and it's flown down to the vacant fine leg region for 4. So obviously Scott Walter thinking about that he was very strong on the front foot and has decided to give him a bit of chin music.
Yeah.
First ball, just to remind him that his back foot shots are important as well. So that's the end of the over. Scott Walter's over was a successful one. Picked up the wicket of Sam Howes, and Redlands are 1 for 7 after 2 overs.
Change of bowling here too. Matt Williams coming on, heading into camp tonight for the Oz under-19. I think they're heading off on Thursday. So big congrats to Willow.
Yeah, that's a fantastic effort. Second year in the Australian under-19 team, is it?
Yeah, second year in the squad. he's bowling really well at the moment, especially in one-day cricket, which he's probably played more of at the moment. He very consistent and catch.
Oh, that was a hot one. Willen's first ball, short of a length, outside off stump. Big cut shots, hot to James Carty's left. Got two hands to it, couldn't hold it.
Yeah, Jack Carty is a very good fielder, so you'd all expect him to take that normally, but did come quick.
Yeah, it didn't stick.
No.
Got my left and right mixed up, clearly to his right. So it'd be interesting to track Matt Willens' career from now on, because I know they've been very cautious with Stan Lake and the 4-day game. So it's obviously, I'm sure it's well in their consideration as Willens comes in again, full pitch.
Yeah, I think at the moment they're just focusing on his white ball cricket, and then hopefully in the next season or two we'll be able to play a bit more red ball cricket, hopefully the odd second 11 match even. But obviously at the moment with the under-19s being all one-day cricket, heavy focus on that. So once he gets through that, hopefully he can finish off the last few games with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we watch him coming in, he's 6'11". He's a big, strong unit.
Well bowled.
Got an outside edge, and it's run down to the third-man boundary for 4. So that takes Redlands to 11, 1 for 11. Beg your pardon, 1 for 13.
Yeah, I think we're bowling well to Basie so far, cramping in for room, which has been good, and using the short ball well, as you saw in Walter's last over. Yeah, just that extra bounce Matt gets really unsettles the batsman, even off a length.
Willens again. Baisley onto his preferred front foot. Straight to Nick Sale. I beg your pardon, Michael Phillipson in the covers. It'll be a very exciting trip for Matt Willens over to South Africa.
Yep, no doubt.
For the World Cup.
Got a good side going over as well. They got a few players from the Big Bash. I know Fraser McGurk's probably one of them that's been well known, and Mackenzie Harvey too. So got a good squad. Have to wait and see how they're going.
That could have been an ugly three-way collision there between Carty, Willens and Smith. None of them fighting in the lightweight division either.
No, that's right. 3 big boppers out there.
So Willens again operating at the river end. Bit of a breeze coming across his left shoulder, I would have thought, by the look of the trees.
Bold.
Good length ball.
See with that extra bounce that it's hard to drive on the up against Willow.
Yeah, certainly different if you've got a little slider like Devon Endersby or
yes,
someone.
That's right.
Who obviously is a bloke who uses the ball to swing and seam, but yeah, when it's coming from 9 foot.
Yeah, makes it a different game, doesn't it?
Yeah, probably 10 foot. Matt Willens again. Well bowled. Excellent start by Matt. And at the end of the third over.
1 for 15.
Redlands
Good start in the power
15.
play. Wouldn't mind another wicket or two, but economy rate's been good. I reckon if you can keep a team to under 45 or 50 in the first 6, you're going a long way to winning the game, I reckon.
Well, it's the inferred pressure that'll pick
That's
up the
right.
wickets as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
One of the remarkable things about this season's Big Bash, Jack, is some of the extraordinary shots that people are
batters fly.
inventing. Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Well, as Walter comes in again,
Oh,
full
nearly
pitch
the
ball. we nearly had an action replay of the first dismissal.
Geez, it couldn't happen twice in a game, could it, Dave?
Well, all we'd say is we're here the day it happened.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched Rashid Khan's innings the other night for the Adelaide Strikers where he got 40 off 18, but he played one shot off a pace bowler and it was almost a wide on the offside and somehow he hit it over square leg for 6.
Yeah, I did see that. He
or
spends
four,
a lot of
but-
time down crouched low, doesn't
Yes,
he?
he does. Have you seen his bat too? The double bubble on the back.
No, I haven't.
It's quite interesting, but
Straight out of Afghanistan's finest bat-making
no doubt,
factory.
no doubt.
Short of a pitch by Scott, aimed at the ribs of Redlands
Smith.
batsman Smith. He's tucked it around fairly neatly for an easy 2.
Yeah, being the big bounder out here, it's going to be important to run your 2s and 3s well. Can't see a lot of people clearing the pickets this way.
Pretty much a regulation field by skipper Henry. Full pitch ball by Scott. Well, actually, he hit him on the up there, wasn't it? He took a bit of a risk there, hitting him on the up, but made fairly good contact with it and picks up a fairly simple one down to Nick Sale at mid-off, who's out there on the ring.
Definitely look like Smith's in fairly good form at the moment, hitting the ball on the up nicely.
Yeah.
So, be an important wicket. Can James Bazley be lining Scott Walter up straight here? We'll wait and see what he comes up with.
Well, by Walter, not giving him any room to move, nice and tight.
Also, that length's really important there, just back of a length. Doesn't let him free his arms up and hit over the top, so really good bowling from Scott.
So interesting to note here, we've got no one down at deep fine leg, so probably fair to say, Jack, that we're not going to see too many short pitch balls at
No,
this
I'd
particular point in
say-
time.
I'd say bowling in and around the hip is where
Yep.
he's probably aiming for.
Yep.
Squeezing him for room and also keeping that ball just back of a length. So we can see there,
Yep.
just at the hip again. It's good bowling from Scott. Really tough ball to get away when you're bowling there to the long boundary as well. You got to sweep it back. Not a lot you can do.
So from a batting angle, it'd be important for them just to nudge it and just keep the score ticking over is the best they can hope for against, I suppose, Scott Walter's a bowler that they'd say we have to be very careful of, and perhaps they'll go after one or two other of our bowlers.
Yeah, look.
Walter again.
It's
He's
a
got-
really good shot.
Made very good contact with that. Very strong hit over cover for a boundary to Smith.
Yeah, what I was about to say was I think if we were a batting unit facing Scott, we'd probably be looking to milk him for 6s and 7s and then try and take the other bowler down, particularly to the short boundary towards the kindergarten.
So that's the end of the 4th over. The Redlands are 1 for 23. Matt Willens is resuming from the river end. A little bit of work being done by the curator on the crease area there, which obviously Scott Henry's had a bit of foot grounding problem there. I think it was referred to on Fox Sports the other night, or maybe it was the Macquarie Sports Network as the Ashling Mallet.
Yeah, just because they've relayed that surface there, the root system hasn't quite developed, and the bowlers leave a bit of a divot.
Yeah.
Because it's just not as firm as what it normally is. So
Willens again using his height, good length, just back of a length, not giving the batsman any opportunity to play any run-scoring shot. Very similar, Bazley and Smith, aren't they? in terms of height and shape.
Yeah, both of them look to be very front foot dominant players, especially Smith seems to want to prod on that front foot and hit over mid-off and cover as well. So hopefully the uni boys can pick up on that quickly.
Well done.
Oh,
Short single there. Takes the score to 24. Yeah, so getting back to some of the shots that we've seen, the shots by Glenn Maxwell and some of those players who play T20 around the world now.
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. When we first saw the ramps and all those sorts of things, we thought, that was remarkable. They just keep reinventing themselves as batsmen.
One shot in particular, I remember, it goes through Nick Sow's legs, sloppy fielding there, was one that Glenn Maxwell played at Metricon Stadium where, can't remember who was bowling, but he bowled a wide Yorker, and I thought, geez, that's a good ball, and somehow he squatted it over point for 6, and I went,
Yeah.
you just can't bowl anywhere to the bloke.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can't afford those basic misses because Uni obviously trying to keep the pressure on as Willens comes in again from the river end. Just short of a length, big swing, bad luck. Great attempt by Scott Henry to get back there and take the catch, but it's safe, and they take 2.
Yeah, just out of reach there. Good effort from Henry, but unfortunately no chocolates. Need to get a bit more speed in those old legs, Dave.
Yeah, well, I speaking from experience, it's around the 30 mark that...
Oh, he's just hit 30, so there you go.
That's right. Hope he doesn't watch the replay of this.
No, I might not.
Oh,
be
that's a
playing
great
next week.
shot. Straight into the side screen, straight down to the ground. 6. So the first time that Willens has actually given him anything to drive, in actual fact.
A very good shot, that. And here at Uni, straight boundary is obviously the shortest, so good batting from Smith, targeting the short boundary. Really tough shot, though, to play off Matt Willens at.
Yeah. I mean, it was really probably the perfect length for that shot. If he was going to hit it, he was certainly able to get underneath it. As Willens comes in again, what will he give him after that? Oh, French cut, as we used to call it, down to the fine leg fence for 4. So Matt's leaked a few runs in that over. Not necessarily a bad ball, that one, but there was 15 off the over.
Yeah, good over for Redlands, that one. Got them right back in it.
Yep. And that's the thing, isn't it? It only takes 1 or 2 overs
right.
where you can go from a position where things are really tight to things are far more comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. T20 ebbs and flows a lot. And any team really on their day can win a game. It only takes one batter to go off or one bowler to bowl well. Got Will Sanders coming on now from the university end. Starting to really cement his spot in first grade, Will.
Yeah, he's a player of considerable potential, isn't he?
Very much so, yes.
And also quite handy with the bat.
Yeah, very handy with the bat. Excellent bowler and very good fielder too, so he's got all 3 prongs to his attack.
Nice action. Long run up.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, that was another very good shot. That was Baisley who punched it through the covers for 4. So probably fair to say at the moment Will has the potential to leak a few runs.
Yeah, I think especially in white ball cricket, because he tends to pitch the ball up, he can go for a few more. I think in red ball cricket he's bowling very good because he generally bowls quite full and in and around that off stump, so he gets a lot of caught behinds. But white ball cricket, he probably just needs to bring his length back a touch. Just bowl that back of a length, squeeze the batter a bit more.
See what he
It's
does
better
with
bowling.
that ball, yeah.
Oh, it's wide. Better length though, I like that length more.
Notice when Don Michael was bowling in the game just before Christmas, that the thing that he does is really takes the pace off the ball and varies his pace. And on that particular day, watching from side on, it was clear that that was his appeared to be his number one weapon.
Yeah, 100%.
Sanders again beats the batsman very nicely. So
Yeah.
after 2 looseners, he's hopefully found his line and length.
Yeah, he's very good, Don Michael, in T20 cricket. He just varies his length and also his pace a lot, which is very hard as a batter to get in any groove to him, really. He can bowl quick, he can bowl slow. He's got a range of slower balls, which makes it hard to...
Slow bouncer he uses effectively, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely does. And bowling to this long boundary uses that slow bouncer a lot. So he's a very smart cricketer, Dom.
So Sanders again off that long run from the Union College end. Again beats Baisley outside the off stump. Did he swing the ball much?
Yeah, we'll normally swing it away.
Yeah.
Obviously with the white ball, though, you don't get nearly as much swing. Might be a tad, maybe a little bit off the deck, but
Yeah.
I expect probably after normally three overs max, it kind of flattens out a bit. But yeah, in red ball cricket, he swings the ball away a bit. You mentioned that long run up, and normally after about 3 overs of bowling, we're 4 overs behind the over rate in 2-day cricket.
That's right. Sanders again. Well bowled. And
Piece of fielding.
yeah, very good. Followed up his good bowling with some sharp fielding. So there's a single there to Baisley.
Yeah, he's definitely come back well in this over. I think probably starting well has been a bit of an issue for Will. Even in that 19s when I saw a bit, just those first few balls he really struggles with, but he's got into his work nicely now and he's bowling a really good line and length to these two, I think.
And the other thing we've got to remember is he's just had his 18th birthday.
That's right. He's still got
He's a young'un.
a lot of room for potential. It's very exciting and a ripper bloke too, which is good to play with.
That was a full pitch and big thick outside edge. Nick Sales down there on the 3rd man boundary, but it falls short. 1 bounce to Nick and 1 run. So Redlands go to 44 for the loss of 1 wicket. We're in the 45 for the loss of 1 wicket. And this is the 5th over. So they're going along quite nicely. Sanders again.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Again, cramping Baisley and bowling at that hit, where he probably struggles a little bit more. Well, everybody does, but particularly to these two, it looks like anything pitched up is going to go the distance, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah, certainly. As you were saying, they're both big front footers, and anything that's short of a length in at the body, they look far less comfortable. So I'm sure the uni boys are very, very mindful of that. So Smith is 25, Baisley 16, and Redlands are 1 for 45 as we
After 6 overs.
at the end of the power play.
Fairly evenly matched. I reckon we'd probably, as a uni player, like maybe 1 or 2 more wickets, but we've kept the run rate down fairly well. And these next few overs are really important for either team.
Speaking of Devon Endersby, he's come on at the river end. Very experienced first grade cricketer, Devon. Very handy man to have out there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, very experienced. Probably didn't, to his own standards, didn't start off the season as well as he might have hoped, but he's bowled superbly in the last kind of 6 weeks. Red ball cricket, he's been really good, and white ball cricket as well. He's been economical and took a few wickets yesterday as well, so he's been really good for us this year.
Single down to long off. Matt Willens down there. So we've got Jack Carty at long on. Matt Willens is at long off. There's a deep extra cover. Man at point. There's a third man. Scott Walters saving a single at sort of a short fine leg, and there's a boundary rider out the deep square leg.
I'd say with this field we're trying to bowl back of a length outside off or full outside off, and often try to make them hit to this long boundary out to the offside.
So if they're going to get their runs, they're going to have to run up and down that pitch.
Certainly are. Especially with fine leg up, you can't really get too straight, otherwise you're going to go the journey.
Yeah. Endersby again. Took the pace off that one.
That's for bowled.
Interesting contrast between the height of Willens
And Endersby.
Endersby coming up, bowling little sliders.
Yeah, I think Devon will have to use his changes of pace bowl here, especially to Baisley. He's probably not going to get it up high, and to that short boundary, probably won't be looking to bowl too many bounces, I don't expect.
That sounded like a big edge, and yes, there's a wicket. So that's the second wicket to fall, and a very handy one too, because Redlands were looking quite comfortable. Endersby's bowled really well this over, obviously well outside. It was the ball that was arguably there to hit.
Yeah, look, I think maybe just didn't quite transfer his weight properly into it, but
yeah,
probably more the execution rather than the shot choice, because the ball was there to hit.
The ball was there to hit, but his front foot didn't really get across, and he got a healthy outside edge, and Mitchell Fry was a very willing recipient.
A big wicket for Uni, because Baisley can whack them and was starting to hit them well, so important. Lee Drennan coming out now. He'll look to work the ball. Very crafty batter. Hopefully back in a week or two. So been rehabbing and stuff like that. Yeah, I've started running this week.
So Baisley's gone for 16. He looked very dangerous. So Liam Smith is still there on 26. New batsman is the Redlands captain and wicketkeeper Lee Drennan. And that's the end of Baisley. Actually, much easier to tell between the two batsmen now. Baisley and Smith very similar in stature. Endersby coming into bowl to the new batsman Drennan. Oh, full toss. Welcome to the crease. Drennan gets hold of it, pushes it down to Carty at mid-on, gets off the mark with a leisurely single.
Yeah, I think what we'll see from Drennan is looking to rotate the strike. He's particularly good against spin, using his feet, lap shots, sweeps. So looking to squeeze in the ring to him, I reckon. And then obviously Smith is really starting to strike them well, so probably trying to get him off strike as much as we can.
Yes, so Uni won't be disappointed to see that single off the last ball of a successful Devon Endersby over. And the new bowler at the Union College end is the wily veteran Michael Phillipson. Those handy little, would you call them nude balls? Does he actually turn the odd one?
He's starting to turn them again, I think, but I reckon he'll be bowling nude nuts today. I don't reckon he'll be putting too much spin on them. Probably darting them into the pads of Drennan.
Yeah.
Particularly this big boundary, I think. He actually started bowling really well again this year. Probably had a year or two where he didn't quite bowl as well, but this year's been handy for us, that's for sure.
False start. So he's got a bit of coverage out here, and it's Phillipson to Drennan, sweeps the ball down to Max Clayton. A deep backward square, and they get through for 2. Max enjoying his stint in first grade.
Yeah, he is. Probably in the 2-day cricket hasn't had as good a time of it as he probably hoped, but get back to your office ball.
Well bowled by Phillipson.
But
Looked like that one might have turned a little bit from
yeah,
the side on view that we've got here.
Just looked like it held on the wicket a bit too. But yeah, I think that he got 40 odd yesterday and batted pretty well. He got a 60 odd as well against West, one game here. But yeah, I think after Christmas he'll be hoping for a few more runs.
So Smith on strike. He's on 26. Phillipson the bowler. And pushes out to the vacant cover region, and it's Big Matt Willens out there on the boundary, saving anything more than a single. Well bowled Michael Phillipson. And the other thing with Michael Phillipson too is he gets through his overs nice and quickly. So while we've got a few bowlers who push off the side screen, Michael's a bit like the way Darren Lehman bowled when he was playing off about
Short
2
and sharp.
paces. Yeah,
That's right. I think as a batter too, it kind of rushes you a bit because you get through the over and you're like, oh, you know.
That's right.
Suddenly 6 balls are gone, and you hardly realise it. I think Nick does that quite well too when he bowls. But that was a handy over there from
Michael
Michael.
Phillipson, yeah. So after 8 overs, I beg your pardon, after 7 overs, the score is, 2 for 52. 2 for 52 after 8. Smith is on 7, Drennan is on 5. So the successful Devon Endersby continuing at the river end, and he's bowling to the Redlands captain.
I think this is a smart move putting fine leg back because Drennan can rant the ball, so obviously cued onto that and got him back straight away. Might be trying to bowl just a tad straighter to him, make him hit straight and long. See mid-off's up.
They've got the protection at long on with Carty. They've also got Willens out there at on the boundary in your position. Deep 4 to square. Endersby again in the air. Oh, Max doesn't quite get a clean take, and they take a quick single. So there's a slight adjustment here for the batsman Smith. Scott Henry straightening the field, sending Max Clayton back onto the boundary at long off, bringing Yano round to an deep extra cover. Endersby bowling again. Full length. Gives Smith the opportunity to play his powerful off drive, but Max Clayton's there to save anything more than 1. So Uni have done a good job to get Smith off strike.
Well, this could be out.
This
He
could
hits.
be out. Yes, very close, and he's out. Great work by Devon Endersby.
Geez, that's a big wicket picking up Smith run out.
Massive wicket. Drennan pushed it very short, and he was going to struggle. You called it, Jack, right from the word go. Short signal straight into the path of Devon Endersby's follow through. Smith was really pushing hard to make it, but a direct hit has found him well short of his ground.
Be interesting to see if well, he wasn't really slow off the mark. I think it's a really good piece of fielding. Probably wasn't a single out, I reckon.
Particularly when
the fact that he hit it to the offside didn't help.
where Devon's following through, and Smith probably tall bloke. He's not the...
Quickest between the wickets.
Yeah. He's a bit of a giraffe, isn't he? And it's, I mean, he's out by...
a long way.
by 2 or 3 metres at the end. So the skipper pushes his top batsman under the bus, much to the glee of the uni boys. Certainly, uni be glad to see the end of Smith, who did really well yesterday, scoring 67 in Redlands' defeat by Sandgate.
Picking up 2 out of the top 3 run out isn't bad. Handy.
So the new batsman, Jack, is just waiting for the Endersby coming in. Got a bit of bat on that.
Legal.
Yeah. So he's off the mark very quickly.
Hereford got his first grade 100 earlier this year. I think he made it a big one too, 180 or something he got.
Nick Hereford.
Old timer.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's 39, yeah.
Wow.
So he's played a few years. Be interesting to see what Drennan does here.
He's hit it in the air straight to your brother Max Clayton, and not a great afternoon out. Not a great couple of balls for Lee Drennan. He's run his batting partner out, and then next ball he's holed out himself. So very handy couple of overs. The change of bowling at that particular end has brought a flurry of runs. Beg your pardon, a flurry of wickets. 3 wickets off the past 2 overs. Never really got into position to play that shot.
I was just Devon just took the pace off there. Looked like he rolled his fingers down it, stuck in the wicket a bit, and couldn't get it over the top. So really good piece of bowling here from Devon. Last 2 overs have been superb from him.
So that's the end of Drennan.
Yeah, I definitely say Uni are on top now with 4 wickets in the first 9 overs. But
so Michael McEwen is the new batsman.
I think it'll be important here for Redlands just to get a partnership going, rotate the strike and put away the bad ball, but probably keep the risk down for the next 2 or 3 overs at least to try and get through to the middle overs without losing 5 or 6 quick ones.
So it looks like Hereford's on strike. Nick Sale has come on at the Union College end. Michael Phillipson just bowling the 1 over. So Scott Henry really rotating his bowlers, not allowing the Redlands batsmen to get any rhythm. Sale slipping onto a length very easily, but Hereford just pushes very soft hands just into that short cover region, and there's a comfortable single.
Be interested to see what Hereford has told McEwen between the over.
Yeah, and it's the first lefty we've seen today, so slight adjustment to the field. We've got 2, 3 out on the boundary, the short boundary, as Sale comes in. Playing a miss.
I definitely think he'll be looking to shoot him through outside off again here and try and make him hit to
that short boundary.
The long boundary, yeah. Keep it away from the short boundary as much as he can.
So he's going to have to play right across his body to take advantage of that short boundary.
Pardon? It's just a pick thing. I was like, they better not bowl full swing.
Good pressure by Uni there. Sale bowling a good line. McEwen pushed it into cover. Yano Kurtzy equal to the task quickly onto the ball. No run. Sale again. McEwen on the back foot. Finds the gap. Max Clayton comes in off the deep point boundary for a single.
Be interesting to see what a good score is here, because in the game before, Uni got 140. Probably didn't bat as well as they could have, and then knocked over Redlands for about 120 in the end. So I don't reckon it's a 180 pitch, this one.
No, it doesn't appear to have that look about it. Doesn't have the pace, as Hereford plays a sweep shot 4 to square and picks up a handy 2. So that's the end of that particular over, the 9th over. 10th over. We'll just give you an update on the score as soon as it comes through.
Matt Willen's back in the attack. I think with Redlands being under the pump, Scott will be keen to get the strike bowlers back in and pick up 1 or 2 more. Hopefully get into the tail early. Also think Matt's probably handier through the middle overs than what he is at the death, because he bowls that back of a length.
Yeah.
Sometimes he can get hit square of the wicket towards the end of the innings, but generally new batters are less likely to try and take him on. So I think it's a good bowling move from Scott to get Willow back on, and hopefully he can pick us up 1 or 2 quick ones.
Dom Michael's certainly been the bowler they've saved for the death bowling, haven't they?
Obviously not playing today because just about to have a kid actually, but his wife is. There we go.
A big outside edge, well bowled. Excellent change by Scott Henry. Willens comes straight back in. McEwen attempting a shot outside the off stump. Got a nice healthy edge, and Mitchell Fry took a very comfortable catch. We just watched this one on replay. Not quite sure whether he's trying to...
he was trying to force it through the offside there.
Yeah. I was just wondering... Or right, was he trying to run it down?
Yeah, I don't know. I think...
Yeah.
But again, we can see Willow there, just with that extra bounce, takes the shoulder to the bat, or towards the upper.
No movement of his back foot there at all. So we're playing well away from his body, and that was a recipe for disaster for Michael McEwen as he departs.
Yeah, Dom's been very important in the last few overs for us, just because of his changes. Very hard to get away. Obviously, we've probably missed his batting a bit yesterday, but hopefully someone needs to stand up in our top 4.
So we're into the 11th over, and Redlands are 5 for 59. So certainly after that early wicket, there was a very solid stand for the second wicket, but things have not gone well for Redlands since then. The new batsman is Maley, Charles Maley.
Don't know much about Charles.
Willens welcomes him with a ball just short of a length. So Willens again. Good length ball, yeah, well run. Comfortable single to Max Clayton. So Maley is off the mark, which brings Hereford back on strike. So Hereford's got a role to play here. He's probably
last recognised batters.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, I think really important for him to probably bat out the innings here and just try and get a 30 or 40 so they have something to bowl at. and then the other guys from the other end can have a bit more of a go at it.
Redlands. Oh, well bowled. Yes, his designated role to bat through the innings has been brought to a very, very quick end as he tried to play Matt Willans into the St John's College car park, but as they have been saying on the telecast from South Africa, he's been castled.
Yeah, not the world's greatest shot, I don't think. Especially when the wicket looks a bit slow, and he's only been out there for a few balls. His team's 5 for 60, and he's playing a big hack across the line. I wouldn't say that's
against
ideal.
a bloke who's bowling from that height. Yeah, there was not a lot of
Thought.
Yes, went into that shot, and so he's come to a very quick end. Another very handy wicket for Uni. You can see on the replay there, he did chop it on. No foot movement, just a wild swing of the bat, and so that was the end of Nick Herford. New batsman is Jack Sinfield. Nickname's got to be Jerry, hasn't it?
Yeah, good up-and-coming all-rounder, Jack Sinfield. He was part of the under-17 Queensland side this year.
So another left-hander. Well, he's got an opportunity, as every young player who comes into first grade, if you're presented with an opportunity to bat your team in from a losing position into a winning position, then this situation's there for him to take advantage of as Willans comes in again. Full length. Sinfield played a good shot, yeah. Out in the vacant cover region. And they pick up a single and he retains the strike. So 6 for 61 is the score for Redlands, and Michael Phillipson is about to commence the 12th over. So we've got the stark contrast, the veteran Michael Phillipson bowling to the young 17-year-old, is he?
I think we've actually got Nick Sale here.
Beg your pardon, it is Nick Sale.
Maybe Changi just trying to let Scott know that he should bowl the next over, but not quite working.
He'd taken his cap off and grabbed the ball, but was sent packing. Yep. Sale to Sinfield. Cut shot in the air, safe. Yano Curtsey, who's often riding the boundary out near the pavilion, returns the ball to Mitchell Fry, and a comfortable single. So Sinfield's off the mark. He's 2, and it's Maley on strike. Another single into that vacant area. Max Clayton quickly onto the ball.
Been much better in the field today, Uni, than what they were yesterday. Probably, maybe there was that one chance that Scott Henry potentially put down, but apart from that, we've been pretty good in the field, I reckon.
Yeah, certainly looked sharp today.
You'd expect so after yesterday's performance.
Well, that's right, and it's also easy to be sharp when you're 6 for 60.
That's right. Off 12 overs.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, playing for a final spot here, so
Yeah.
you'd expect them to be on.
So 2 to Maley there as Sale comes in. Well bowled.
Hard bowl to get away because he bowls quick and at the stumps, which means that it makes it hard for the batter to use their feet or get deep in the crease because it skids on, it doesn't get above
Yeah.
stump height. very handy one-day and T20 bowler, Nick.
And an experienced cricketer now.
Yeah, he is. He's 24, 25 this year. Scored a lot of first-grade runs, particularly for North. But very handy coming in at 7 or 8 for us, and bowling. He's 10 overs in a one-day match or 4 overs in a T20.
And he can hit a hard ball on
He
his
can.
day.
He can. He did yesterday too. I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, but he hit a few nice sixes.
Sail again to Sinfield. Playing a miss. And that's the end of Sales over. 6 for 65. Redlands after 12 overs. So Uni well and truly on top at this particular point in time. But there's still a little way to go. So what if you're in Redlands' position, you'd certainly want to, 120, 130?
Yeah, I think if they could get 120, that'd be a fair effort from here. I reckon if I was out there right now, I'd just be looking to get a partnership going for the next 3 overs, try and go at 5s or 6s. Doesn't have to be
swing momentum back
that's
your
right.
way.
And then hopefully the last few overs you can get a few loose ones. But I think it's just really important that they consolidate here for a bit.
Matt Willens again right on target.
And again, on the other hand, for Uni, it's really big that we get 1 or 2 here, another 1 or 2, and then just really put the pressure on them. Even a lot of pressure on them already, but another 1 or 2 here pretty much doesn't allow them to get above 100. So I think that's why Matt Willens is bowling out here as well, trying to get a 7th or 8th.
The foot's on the throat, so to speak.
That's right.
Willens again, bowling to Sinfield. Fairly full lengths. Sinfield, not a big bloke. Didn't quite get hold of it, but he gets a single. He gets him off strike, and Maley will face up to the next delivery as Redlands move on to 67. There hasn't been too many boundaries after that early assault by Smith. There's been remarkably few boundaries, even to that short side. Willens again.
I was saying earlier to John that the outfield looks a little bit slow, and because the wicket's a touch slow as well, it's probably hard to hit through the line along the ground. So a lot of the boundaries that we did see were lofted shots, 4s or 6s, and probably just because of the pace of the wicket, it's easier to go over the top than hard through the infield.
And that can sometimes happen after the Christmas break, where the grass hasn't been mown. If the groundsmen are on a break, a bit of grass sits on a bit more length in it. Yeah, well,
Reezy assured me that he was here every day over Christmas.
Oh, I drove past a couple of times. I didn't see too much action happening here. He must have been doing some repair work on the machinery. So Sinfield's on the strike. Australian under-19 pace bowler Matt Willens coming from the river end. Sinfield doing his best to get a ledge on that.
See what, that's a high-risk shot trying to guide that ball. Maximum he's going to get is 1 down a 3rd man.
That's right.
Better off just playing full face, putting in the gap here at extra cover and rotating the strike. Think with Matt Willens' bounce, anything you're playing with cross bat, especially on this wicket, is difficult.
Willens using his height again. Sinfield trying to play a shot outside the off stump. No run, and that's the end of Willens' over. That's 13 overs gone. Sinfield's 4, Maley is also 4, and Redlands are 6 for 68. So nothing's really changed from looking at from a Redlands position, they're obviously trying to consolidate, but I don't see either of these two batsmen looking at this particular point in time as though they've got the brute strength to be able to
take it over the
do
top.
do some boundary scoring. Maley certainly looks physically capable.
More capable. I think Sinfield's role would just be to rotate the strike as much as he can. Probably Maley towards the end of the innings might try and go a bit larger.
So Michael Phillipson's got his wish. He's bowling from the Union College end, and he's hit down to Jack Carty at long on for a single. So the young Sinfield's on strike.
Should be taking that.
Yeah, it's hit across the line. He sliced it, and very simple catch to number 5, Nick Sale. So that's the end of Sinfield. Jack Sinfield, he's gone. Probably wasn't the shot that you want to play as a support player, hitting across the spin, and he departs.
And again, Michael just using his experience there to bowl wide outside off, force the young batter to hit to the leg side towards a short boundary.
Yeah, I think his eyes lit up when he saw the vacant short boundary at deep mid-wicket.
And ended up paying dividends for Changi, picking up the wicket. The reaction on Michael's face.
I thought Nick had got himself into that awkward position, whether
like
it's
it,
fingers up or fingers down.
Kind of got almost stuck under the ball.
Yeah. So Redlands lose their 7th wicket with the departure of Jack Sinfield in over number 14. New batsman is Ben Long. Ball was in the air, so it looks like Maley has gained the strike. Phillipson operating around the wicket, cramping Maley for room. And getting through his overs at a remarkable rate, that's right. Maley managed to push a short single out to the cover point area. And there's a wicket. Bowled him.
First ball too.
First ball. He was not there for a long time and long departs.
Looked like it might have been a bit of turn there.
Yeah,
even.
I thought Michael's turned a couple today.
Really well.
Straight through the gate. So long departs. And further trouble for a Redlands team who've really struggled today.
Certainly have. Thought they started off superbly, being 1 for 45 after 6. They're in a great position to set themselves up for a big total from there, but they've just lost wickets consistently throughout the innings, which has really put a lot of pressure on the lower to middle order. And
well, those 2 wickets that they lost, Smith run out, and then 2 balls later, Drennan Holland out. That was a backbreaker, wasn't it?
Yeah, that made it tough for them. And losing 2 out of your top 4 in the same over makes it really tough.
So Josh Arnold is the new batsman. Redlands struggling at 8 for 70 in the 14th over. It has not been a good afternoon for the Tigers.
Without jinxing Uni here, it's really important for us to get these next couple quickly, because run rate could be a big factor if we can get a few runs early.
Yeah.
Especially again with the B6 teams in the race for it, and even coming with a home final or whatever it is. So it'd be handy to knock these 2 over quickly and get the runs, but it's a funny game, cricket, isn't it?
That's right.
Dave? You never know.
And there's those totals too, which can be awkward chases.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that 70 at the moment, you know, they with 2 wickets in hand, they'll struggle to get 100. But you know, you get into that 120, 130 region if they hypothetically were able to get there. Sometimes those chases can be even harder than 140, 150.
Yeah,
aren't
especially if you lose quick wicket or two, because you're not quite sure how to attack it, whether you go hard at the start or
they?
just milk them. So hopefully we can keep them under 100 here. And I think when you have a low total like that, just hit out to cover for a single. When you have a low total like that, you just go pretty hard from the start and try and knock it off as quick as you can.
And it certainly takes the wind out of the sails of the fielding
that's right.
team.
If you can get 30 or 40 quickly in the first 4 or 5 overs, then it makes it very difficult for the bowling team to come back from that.
Yeah, which I mean, case in point, the clash of the 2 Melbourne teams last night.
Yeah.
So Will Sanders back into the attack from the River End. Haven't heard too many reports of Will's 18th birthday. I didn't see anything in social media.
Very quiet, wasn't it? It's unusual.
Well bowled.
With the less stuff on social media, the better, I reckon, Dave.
That's right. Yes, it's
phones off.
Known many a sportsman, many a schoolboy to get themselves in a lot of trouble on social media.
Yes. Very good for some things, not so good for others.
That's right. So we've got Maley on strike, Charles Maley. He's hung around a little bit. He's on 8. We're facing Will Sanders.
Can they love hitting across the line, don't they, off the stumps here,
Yeah.
Dave? You thought they would have learnt their lesson after 1 or 2 chop-ons and a caught behind. But
well, it's a no-value shot because they could have played straight and punched it out through this vacant cover region and got exactly the same result with far less risk. It's
100%. And especially with Will, he's more of a skiddy bowler, so
yeah.
should come onto the bat a little bit better.
Sanders going. Full pitch, right up in the block hole, and Arnold squirts it out to Jano Kurtzi for a comfortable single. Be good to see Will have a solid season because he's had his back problems, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had, I think he's had 3 or 4 stress fractures in his back, so a bit worrying for him, but hopefully he can get a good season under his belt for the rest of this year and next year as well.
There's a full pitch. Lofted off drive into the vacant extra cover region. Jano comes round. Leisurely picks it up and fires with that very strong right arm. A throw on the first bounce back to Mitchell Fry. 2 more to Maley. Well, Maley could be the key to them getting something respectable and giving them something to bowl at.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, but he's starting to strike them a bit nicer. But back on Will, he's very important for our side, I think, having that 3rd or 4th seamer behind, obviously, Willow and Walter. And also Dev is really important.
Well bowled by Sanders. Maley runs it down to 3rd man, 2 runs. And that's the end of the Sanders over. So, good over by Will. So Maley's on 2, beg your pardon, Maley's on 11, Arnold is on 2, and after 15 overs, Redlands are 8 for 78.
Be interesting to see if Maley keeps going here, rotating the strike, or whether he tries to line someone up. I think he looks like he's just trying to keep rotating the strike and get a bit of a partnership going.
Well, they've got to
really
bat their
smart.
overs, haven't
That's
they?
right. He's still got 30 balls left, so 30 singles, and they're suddenly up to 110.
That's right.
Gives them a chance at least.
And if they can pick up the odd 2 and maybe a boundary or 3,
That's right.
then they're getting up to that 120. Yeah.
So yeah, still plenty of time left in this game. I think people forget how long T20 can be. Still 120 balls.
So Ben Long is the batsman on strike. Scott Walter, the bowler. Runs it down for an easy single. Well, this will give us an indication as to Maley's thinking as faces up to the wily veteran, Scott
Big
Walter.
bear.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he tried to take him down here, but been surprised a few times this game. Dave.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Scott's coming around the wicket.
He's much easier up here in the commentary box than out there in the middle.
Well, there's a lofty shot through the onside. It's not going to reach the boundary. Jarno Kurtzie's the boundary rider out here at deep mid-wicket.
Well fielded. Not something you see from Scott Walter every day, a knee-high full toss.
No. Obviously going for the Yorker.
Yep. Missed the Yorker probably.
Walter to Maley runs him down to third man. Comfortable single. So Ben Long needs to play a supporting role here. Keep the scoreboard ticking over, bat the full 20. Beg your pardon, Arnold. Josh Arnold. Ben Long gone a long time ago. Walter to Arnold. Full pitch, right up the block hole.
Doesn't look too bad with the bat arm. So he's got a bit of potential. Strikes it nicely.
So there's been a few boys who've tied the knot or eloped in the last year or so, hasn't there?
Yeah, Scott Walters just had
his
a
first
kid.
Yeah.
That was probably, it's got to be nearly 6 months ago now, I reckon. Even more, 8. And Devon Endersby just got married.
Last season, Mitchell Fry got married, didn't he?
Just about to have a kid too, Mitch Fry, in March.
Jeez, it could be...
could be an exodus soon.
There could be an exodus, or there'll be a creche set up here, one of the two.
Hopefully the creche.
Be a few second grade players hoping there's an exodus. Scotty Walter coming in. Bowling to Maley. Full pitch, right up in the block hole. Maley says, I'll just take an easy single. And that's the end of Scott's over. So there's still a bit of life left in the Redlands body at the moment, despite the fact that they've lost 8 wickets. They've got 84 on the board. Maley's still there. He's critical to their future. And if Arnold can hang around with him, they could push the score up to something respectable. So it's going to be Will Sanders coming from the river end again. Maley on strike. Working up a good bit of pace by Sanders. I mean, that's a really aggressive shot where, you know...
Still those cross-patch shots are not working, are they, today on this wicket? Interesting to see going around the grounds, Lachlan Pfeffer, 100 for Valleys against Sandgate.
Jeez, the Valleys boys are in the runs this weekend because he got runs yesterday. He was the sporting act to Andrew Goad. Sanders again.
Sunny Coast piling a big total on against West as well, 3 for 150. And on that West wicket, it's a pretty good score. That's just been relayed as well. And from all reports, is a bit up and down, so that'll be an interesting game.
Replacing an old wicket that was a bit up and down.
Yes, that's right. I think they've replaced it a few times so far in the last few years.
With an outfield that's a bit up and down.
Yes. My favourite place to play cricket, Wes.
Sanders bowling to Maley. Full length. Maley squirts it out to Yano Curtsey. Out here at deep extra cover. 1 run. Will Sanders doing a good job here.
Bowling well, isn't he? Infield needs to squeeze, just add more, try and restrict the single here off Arnold.
Playing a
Oh,
miss.
jeez, that did not miss us some quite much, that.
Would have thought that they might have been better off batting a little bit out of their crease to Will.
Yeah, especially on a wicket that isn't coming onto the bat that nicely.
We haven't seen the batters use their feet much at all, whether that be, you know, coming down the wicket and replacing their feet or using their feet to the paces. But they haven't really given themselves a chance to do that either.
Another ball right up in the slot. And Arnold pushes down to Jack Carty for a comfortable single. No, there hasn't really been anyone apart from Smith who's taken the attack to task, has there?
No.
It's been a pretty comfortable afternoon for the uni bowlers and even more comfortable for the fieldsmen.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of fielding to do.
Will Sanders full pitch, and Maley gets a piece of that one, thick outside edge down to third man, just one, so he does retain the strike, which is good for Redlands.
He's played well so far, Maley.
Yeah.
Played the conditions well and probably given his team something to bowl at so far.
So
3 more overs to go.
So after 17 overs, Redlands are 8 for 87. Maley's on 19. Arnold playing a handy support role. He's on 5. Scott Walter to continue bowling from the Union College end.
So Scott Walter's last over, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you would think that they'd be satisfied with, you know, picking, as you said before, 6 singles, you know, might pick up 6 or 7 this over. Handy bouncer from Walter.
Right on the money, that.
Yep. And maybe making a little bit of a charge in the last over if they've got wickets in hand.
Yeah, I think that'll be a game plan. And Maley looks like he can give them a bit of a whack, so I reckon trying to pick up a few singles this over and then maybe even a few more the next over and then see from there. The main thing for Redlands now is just batting out their 20 overs.
That's right, can't do it in the grandstand, can you?
That's right.
Walter again, right up in the block hole. No runs, so 2 balls, no runs at this stage in the 18th over. So just bat on ball would be handy for Redlands. There's plenty of opportunities for a single out there.
Field spread, isn't it?
Yeah.
Infielders on the ring, so all he has to do is really get bat and ball, and he's got a single.
Another bouncer by Scott Walter, hit into the vacant deep mid wicket region. Yano Curtsey comes round from his boundary riding position, and it's 1 run.
Again, that bump was right on the money. Interesting to see that the umpires only signalled 1 for the over when the other one did look like it was over the shoulder, so
Certainly was.
yeah.
Wilder again. And that's got a thick outside edge down to third man, and a very handy catch there by brother Max Clayton.
Yeah, well taken down there. I reckon he would have been a bit nervous under that, especially with Scott Walter bowling.
You don't want to drop a catch.
You do not want to
Scott.
drop a catch off Scott. I think Max's first grade game, there was a ball that came out. He was fitting at third slip, I think, and he put it down, and I think he was running for the sheds after that off Walter's bowling.
No hiding place. He would have found him in there, I'm sure. Very comfortable catch. Got into position and took it comfortably. Took a comfortable two-handed catch. So that was the 9th wicket to fall. The departure of Arnold. Maley gets the strike. They crossed. So he's got a really important role. And another wicket to Scott Walter.
Yeah, he's bowled well, Scott. I think all the bowlers have done a good job today, really. Can't really think of anybody there who's got taken to the cleaners. I think everybody's been really consistent, stuck to the plans well. There's probably only 1 or 2 overs at the start of the innings that really got taken down, but apart from that, it's been very good.
Jeez, as an observer, you'd be a bit concerned about the lack of a plan for Redlands here. Walter comes in again, full length. It's almost, they've gone through the motions. There's not been sort of a busyness about their play. You know, let's get some singles, let's put the pressure.
Yeah,
pressure
agreed.
back
It looks
on.
like they had one plan at the start, and that was to go hard or go home, and they haven't really adapted to the situation.
Yeah.
Whether that's inexperience or just not having a plan. But
It's almost, they look resigned to
They do.
being bowled out for a low score.
I think Maley's probably been the only one that has
Applied
really
himself,
played
yeah.
smartly,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Wilder again to the new batsman Sumner. He gets a good piece of that. Chance for a run out. Sumner makes his ground comfortably, and he's off the mark with 2.
Scott Walter with his classic stare out to the fielder when he thinks there should have been 1 there instead of 2.
That's right.
Stands in the middle of the wicket for about 30 seconds.
And that's an important role, isn't it, for young players to learn that when you come into first grade, there's going to be the experienced players who expect standards.
Yes, I think that definitely at uni we have some really experienced players who expect high standards. We're lucky to have, you know, Michael Phillips and Scott Walter, Scott Henry, Devon,
Sanders again.
and Frizy, who are really experienced first grade players, so you learn a lot off them. Sometimes maybe Scott Walter's expectations can be slightly high.
For the angry fast bowler.
Superhero-like
You don't want to poke
fielders.
the bear.
You do not want to poke the bear, but it's all fun and games. He calms down afterwards. Normally about 3 hours it takes him, but
Sanders again. Maley on strike.
he's really good to have around the group, and I know that I've learned a lot of him.
Only
So
a single. Takes the score to 92.
hopefully we have him for a few more years at least, because we could be chasing a lot of leather otherwise, Dave.
Well, the other
Especially
thing
in
is
two-day
that he still provides the brownies, doesn't he?
Oh, that is the best part of the day. Scott Walter's mum, for those who don't know, brings a Tupperware container of brownies to cricket every week.
And has
Warm.
been doing for many years. A secret recipe.
I'll tell you what, they're never dry. And they're
Sanders
always
is down. Sanders is down in the middle of the pitch.
Doesn't look good, does it?
It looks as though he has made contact
Looks
with the
like he's-
stumps.
Hurt his ankle maybe. But yeah, it looks it doesn't look good at all.
So he's had a shocking run with injury, Will.
Have you got a replay of that at all, John? Maybe from behind the wicket. Yeah, just before that.
No, the throw.
Yeah, he's grabbing for his ankle there.
So that's his left ankle, which is his leading.
So it looks like maybe you can't really tell there whether it was, but at some point he's
yeah, I'd
definitely
say
hurt his ankle.
As he's come down in his delivery stride, he's hit the side of his the outside of his left foot, and I dare say
That looks like it's a just from the mechanism there, it looks like it might be a. Hopefully not, but it doesn't look like he's rolled his ankle on the inside. It looks like it might be a bit more of a syndesmosis. I don't know if you're aware of those, but
yeah, they're not good.
kind
That's
of like
the
that
AFL injury, isn't
pivoting
it?
motion when he was coming through in his action. So because it didn't look like he rolled over on his ankle in the same way I kind of did. It looked like it was more of a twisting motion when he was planting his foot to bowl or on his follow through. Maybe just in this next step here.
Well,
this one there, you can see it kind of
we just
twists.
can't quite.
You can't quite see it, but it looks more like that mechanism. So he's walking off here, which is a good sign. But yeah, that's...
Now, Jack, I'd have to say
worrying.
that the uni medical facilities were found a little bit wanting when you rolled your ankle last time during the home game. I think I saw Hamish Gardner on a bike going down to the St Lucia village to get some ice.
We might be lucky with a device today too.
There were a couple of old band-aids.
We need to get a physio in, don't we?
That's right.
Grogs, just a uni student to come in and do the physio
Well,
for us.
Very, very good practice, I would have thought. I mean, that's what the
Plenty
footy
of old
clubs
guys to work on with injuries, wouldn't there?
We could get the Ian Elsa's uni veterans team.
Yeah.
Here.
Geez, there'd be plenty of work to do on those blokes, wouldn't there?
Some of them should not. Some of them should not be playing. I've seen them play. They were very good cricketers in their day.
Not so good anymore.
Shadows of their former selves. And I can say that because I refused to play.
I don't reckon
I can
there's
sit
much
here in judgment.
I don't reckon there's much intensity in the outfield. That's for sure.
No. Mind you, do have blokes like the Herring brothers who are still quite athletic, quite fit.
I think Dad's still involved in those ones.
Yeah, Mark Clayton's still in good nick.
Still gets us to take him down to the nets before the game and throw him 1,000 balls.
True professional.
Yeah, I think that's so that he doesn't get out for a golden duck, really.
Nick Sale sprinting back to the top of his mark. Obviously, he's taken over the Sanders over, with Will going down with that injury.
Certainly be a quick over compared to what Will would have finished off with.
And that's the end of the over. So 95 is the total. 9 wickets down. We'll try and get a report on the Sanders injury. So Maley still there on 23. He's batted really well. At least he's survived. Sumner's on 4. He's got to play that supporting role. Devon Endersby returns. Scott Walters completed his 4. Endersby full pitch. Sumner pushes it out to Nick Sale, who's at mid-wicket. 1 run. Yeah, they started at the river end. So they'll be looking to get 3 figures at least. Maley on strike. Endersby the bowler. He's got hold of that one over the fieldsman's head at fine leg, and they'll pick up a very rare boundary.
Yeah, Maley's done a good job for them, hasn't he?
Certainly has.
Got them up to, wouldn't say competitive score, but at least something that they can bowl at.
That's right.
Just talking to Will then, he looks like it was when he landed on the crease, he said it was a bit uneven, and he's gone over on his ankle, so it wasn't in his follow through. It was more when he landed and bowled the ball, so hopefully he's all right.
Seems like this ground's doomed for ankle injuries at the moment,
That's
doesn't
right.
it?
We might have to have compulsory strapping.
That's right. Be an expensive task.
Endersby's gone for the bouncer. Wide of the mark. Fry couldn't stop it. Gone down the fine leg. They'll get 2.
Good to see Michael Phillipson down there at fine leg in the Taverner's shirt.
Maley's got hold of that one. It's out to the boundary and
6.
it's over.
Geez, these are handy runs for Redlands here. Starting to get up to that awkward chase now, isn't
That's
it, Dave?
right, that 120 that we spoke about. Short boundary.
Getting it over Willow there. That's no
right.
easy task.
That's right. He's 6'11", added on a 5-foot arm.
Tell you what, Maley's
1 foot fingers.
That's right. They're big hands.
That's right. And he jumped.
Tell you what, Maley's played a very good innings here for Redlands. He's really helped them get into a decent position.
So with only a couple of balls remaining, 9 for 109. Endersby again. Full toss. This could also be a boundary.
That's 6.
It is. It's 6.
Jeez.
Great shot by Maley.
That is a serious shot. Flat.
Just disappointingly sloppy in this last over.
Yeah. Short and wide to the short boundary is probably not the spot to be bowling, is it, Dave?
No, not at all. Particularly with my car in the car park over there. Endersby again. Let's see if he can come back with this one. Takes the pace off the ball.
It's a really good shot again.
Good shot into the vacant mid-wicket region. Cardi making good ground. The big ship takes it on the second bounce and sends a flat return in. 2 to Maley.
1 or 2 left, Nick. 1 or 2.
1 ball left.
Just moving cow corner a bit squarer here.
Endersby takes the pace off that one. They could get 2. Maley's turning.
Should be a run out here. It's a poor throw.
Poor throw by Courtesy, and it's a comfortable 2. Well batted. Very well batted by Charles Maley. He's been the saviour of this Redlands team. 9 for 119 is their total off their 20 overs. Maley finished up 43 not out. Sumner was 4 not out. Jack, it's not a lot, but it's...
No, it's definitely competitive, especially on this wicket. I think the uni boys, after having them 8 for 80 after 16 overs, would be really disappointed. I think they got about 40 off those last 4. So yeah, really well batted to Maley though. That was a superb knock from him. Really helped his team get into a competitive position. We'll just have to see how we bat. But yeah, disappointing end. They'll take the momentum into the batting innings.
Yeah, we'll certainly have the batsmen, well, they should be, after yesterday, ready for a full-blooded assault. If Uni are to play in the semi-finals in this year's T20, with any hope of getting through to their lofty heights of last year, they've got to chase down this total and rely on some results going their way in the other fixtures. We'll be back in a few minutes, John, with the run chase. The Uni boys led by Michael Phillipson and Jack Carty. So we'll see you all soon. Welcome back to Wet Paris Oval, where University are chasing 124 victory in this final round T20 competition. After having Redlands in all sorts of trouble, Charles Maley came to the rescue of Redlands with a very well compiled 43, and they got through to a competitive 119. And with me is Jack Clayton, injured University batsman Jack Clayton. The task is ahead of Uni, but you would, if you were laying a bet, you would hope that we'd get home comfortably, Jack.
Yeah, not that we endorse betting here, but you definitely hope that we could chase down 119 on what looks to be a pretty good wicket still to bat on. Yeah, big task for the top four here. To really get the job done and not put pressure on the middle order like last game. Hopefully Michael Phillipson and Jack Carty to get us off to a bit of a flyer.
So Redlands have gone with the youngster Jack Sinfield to open the bowling.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he bowls right arm off spin.
Coming round the wicket to Michael.
I reckon Michael might be lining him up here to hit over cow corner.
Right.
Your car could be in trouble here.
I'm trading it in this week. You better not.
Good start. Should get 2.
Comfortable 2 in the end. He certainly fired that one in. They went. That's right. I mean, he's ruthless with that cow corner area, hasn't he, Michael?
Does not mind it at all.
Sinfield again. Tucks it round to the short fine leg for a single. So the big Jack Carty, who's had a good season.
Yeah,
at the top of the order.
He's got a lot of runs, especially in second grade at the start of the year, and then has come into our first grade and got a few 50s. So he's been very handy. I don't think we'll see him much in second grade anymore for the rest of the year.
So there's a fieldsman down at long on as Sinfield comes in to bowl.
Shot.
And I mean, that is classic Jack Carty, isn't it? Just sitting, rocking back, using those big powerful shoulders and arms, and punished Sinfield's shortness and 4 runs.
Beautiful shot from Jack to start the innings there. Probably not the line length that Sinfield would want to hope for. Short and wide to the short boundary.
That's right, with no protection out
No,
there.
you can see deep extra cover going back now.
Yep, long on's up.
Oh,
So
and
Jack
that could be out.
goes over the top, and he
Caught.
is out. Well, that is not what we wanted. Sinfield has bounced back with the key wicket of Carty. Carty's gone that way a couple of times, hasn't he? Tried to go over the top and not quite getting hold of it, and he has gone.
Yeah, that's really disappointing from Jack. 7 off the first four balls there, and then probably wasn't quite there to hit. A bit quick through the air from Sinfield, and similar shot that he got out to yesterday actually. So disappointing, but now Scott comes to the crease. Hopefully he can really build a good partnership here with Michael Phillipson.
Well, speaking to Hamish Gardner before the match, Scott, who's had a couple of low scores recently, is looking forward to building an innings, and he's got the opportunity today as he comes in with Uni at none for 7 after 1 over by Jack Sinfield.
Very experienced player, Scott Henry, so can hopefully find a way to get us home here.
Well, 2 of the leaders of the club, 2 first grade captains, many years experience under their belt.
Good shot, really good shot.
Michael off the back foot, punches it backward a point, and it's a comfortable two runs. Been impressed with Sinfield.
Yeah, he hasn't started too badly, probably just that one poor ball, but
Yeah.
looks like he's quite quick through the air. I don't know that he get a lot of turn. See there, just skidding on through with the
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah, certainly bowling that end, he will not be giving it any trajectory.
No, that's for sure.
Otherwise, he'll be getting some trajectory back. So
Into
the end
your
of the
car.
over. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why I park it there every week.
I do wonder, Dave.
I
do wonder.
assumed that the strip this week was not going to be the same one as the last game. I thought I was safe, but
Clearly not.
that's right.
Looks like James Baisley coming into the attack here. Big right arm fast bowler. If he swings it, he'll swing it away from the left-hander. But he'll just try and hit a hard length here, I think. Get the ball through to the keeper to start with.
So you would expect Scott to play more of a support role to Phillipson in this situation, would you?
Yeah, I'd
Jack?
expect Scott to
Push
look
the
to
ones
work.
around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
push the ones around, and then if there's a ball there to hit, he'll take it on. But we all know how Michael plays. He doesn't hold back, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, he's not one for getting his eye in or anything like
No,
that.
that's
is it?
right.
Yeah. Go hard or go home. As Baisley comes in, Union College end. Henry, great shot through the covers. That'll be 4.
That is a cracking shot from Scott Henry. First ball he faced, he's just plundered it through the covers.
Well, hopefully that augurs well for the skipper. Baisley again.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of swing away, but
Well,
not
that's,
too
I
much.
mean, they've got to slip in. They've got the customary man just behind point for a left-hander with the ball swinging away. Scott occasionally gets a nick, doesn't he?
probably trying to drive on the up, maybe. Slapping through the point region.
Off the pads through for a comfortable single. It's a leg by. Interesting to see there's a change in field. We're going to have a deep backward square. Jack Sinfield's coming out. Third man is going down onto the boundary.
I reckon I might know where this ball's going to be.
Yeah. Don't think the Rhodes scholars are being phoned up just yet for,
No.
for an assessment.
And Changi could probably get on the back foot here, but
That's right.
we'll see.
It might be the
Oh,
3-card trick. It was.
Geez, that was in the slot too.
Yeah. Can't underestimate the intelligence of these fast bowlers. So Michael gets a single. Takes the score to 15. We're in the second over. We've already seen the departure of Jack Carty. Baisley to Henry. Full length, Henry gets hold of it. Fieldsman running back just out of his reach. Picks it up on the first bounce and 2.
Did not get much of that, did he?
No.
Just got over the top. Awkward those ones when you're a fielder trying to run back and judge the length of the ball. Thought it might be a chance for a little bit there.
So clearly, during the power play with the fieldsman up on the offside, the boys are going for distance, trying to hit the ball over the infield.
I think Scooter will be targeting straight here. Tends to either hit straight or through extra cover and point region a lot. It's probably his 2 go-to shots.
That's the end of the over by Baisley. So Uni off to a good start, apart from the loss of Jack Carty, 17 for the loss of 1 wicket, chasing 120 with Scott, Henry and Michael Phillipson both on 6. Continuing with young Jack, I prefer to call him Jerry Sinfield.
We'll see a quick through the air again here.
Unfortunately, Jack's the age we probably doesn't even know who Jerry Seinfeld is.
I'd expect he would not know who Jerry Seinfeld is.
Well bowled by Sinfield. Michael Phillipson. He's a sweet timer of the ball. It's that defensive shot.
It's a really nice bat swing. Good bowling from Jack Sinfield here.
Yeah, coming
the
around the
pads.
wicket, not trying to give them any room to move. That angle across the body.
And just that length he's bowling, it's hard to get
Yeah.
away.
Notice Michael with his fairly open stance. Gives him the charge,
Oh.
smashes it through mid-wicket.
I reckon the mid-wicket got caught off going the wrong way there. I reckon it went straight to him, to be honest. And he's moved to his left.
And
It's gone to his
gone-
right.
Gone a rocket a metre past his right.
That's right.
Very polite 17-year-old doesn't give him the Scott Walters stare. Yeah, there he is, a forlorn whoops. Made better use of his fielding skills on that occasion. The fieldsman, I can't see who it is. Actually, it is. Looks like Maley, is it?
Yeah, not sure, but I reckon with where Michael's batting at the moment, he's looking to hit anything with width over cover.
He's
Or the
deep in
point
his crease,
region.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Straight down the ground. One bounce to the long on fieldsman.
It's good stuff from Sinfield. He's bowled tight.
Yeah, he's not being intimidated by the experience or the hard hitting of either Phillipson or Henry.
No, he's been good.
Well, this is the first ball that Henry's faced of Sinfield.
Especially after going for a boundary early in his spell.
Yeah.
He's come back well for a young guy.
Well bowled again. Last ball of the over. Scott Henry happy to pat it back and hand Michael Phillips from the strike for the next over. After 3 overs, Uni are 1 for 22. Michael Phillipson's on 11. And Michael's a bit like Steve Smith. He doesn't mind a change of gloves.
No, he
either.
doesn't, does
Yeah.
he? Anybody who's on gloves or drinks when he's batting fears to the worst. I remember when I first started in first grade, I think the first time I ran him out gloves, he goes, "Where's my lip balm?" Your lip balm, mate? What are you talking about? He goes, "Yeah, the lip balm." I said, "I didn't know about any lip balm. Where is it?" He said, "The one in Scott Henry's bag." Went, I meant to know that you have lip balm, which isn't yours, in Scott Henry's bag that you want brought out. Very, very fussy about his kit.
Great shot. Michael Phillipson picks it up just short of a length and punishes through deep mid-wicket for a boundary.
Really good shot from Michael. He doesn't mind coming down the wicket and hitting over mid-wicket. He's also very particular about the inners that he wears. He's got about 8 pairs in his bag, but he only likes 3 or 4 use. So you just take every pair you got in there out every time.
You wouldn't want to get the pairs mixed up then.
No, that's right.
Well, in stark contrast to the Redlands batsman, there's full use of the batting crease here.
Really
Baisley's
good
dropped
shot.
it short, and another boundary over deep, fine leg. 2 bounces.
Use of pace well there.
Just flicked it away.
Probably not the best ball to bowl. Fine leg up,
Oh, you could argue it was the worst.
pretty much. If you're going to be bowling short, it's got to be outside off, forcing him to hit square up of the wicket rather than using the pace over fine leg.
It's probably fair to say with this field set, not a great idea that you bowl a short one at all, unless you're attempting to get something above his
It's
head.
a bit
to get it.
unusual, the field, to be honest, really, isn't it?
Because if you're going to bowl short, you'd want to have 2 back, wouldn't you? Not the
Yeah.
1.
Well, it's kind of like he wants a bit either way because he's got third
Yeah.
man back, which suggests that you want to be bowling
That side.
outside off, but then
Yeah.
he's got deep square leg, 5 or 10 metres behind square. So it's kind of saying you want him to bowl over his left shoulder with the bumper, but no fine leg or fine leg up. So it doesn't give him a lot of room for error, really. You'd
So-
expect square leg to come further in front of square. So if he does bowl a short ball, it's hit in front.
Paisley gain to Henry, who just very happy to drop it. close in on the offside. Turns the strike over. Controversial call by Redlands already that they're going to get home by, what do you say?
4 wickets.
4 wickets.
Trying to work out how they're going to get home by 4 wickets when they're bowling second. But
yeah, that's right. So we'll probably leave that assessment of the game on that point.
I think so.
As Michael Phillipson plays nicely up to mid-off for a single. Takes the score to 33.
Smart batting from these two. They got away with 2 boundaries at the start of the over and now just rotating the strike. Take the risk out of it. No need to try and take Baisley down. He's probably their best bowler.
He's a big, tall athlete.
Yeah. Was part of the Queensland Bulls squad and played a few one-day matches for the CA11 when they had their CA11 team in the one-day Matador Cup or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. No ball and free hit. So this could be expensive for Redlands. Yeah, he's not that quick by the looks of it. He relies on.
Yeah, he's not super quick. He just hits a good spot and gets a bit of bounce.
Yeah, he's certainly a tall lad.
Yeah. He bowls in that high 120 range, 130.
There's the free hit. Good swing by Henry. It's cleared long on. One bounce. Fieldsman picks it up, gets it back in, and they pick up 2. Must ask Redlands to get numbers next year, so if they can budget for that.
It's unusual that the team doesn't have numbers.
So after 4 overs, Uni are 1 for 36. Michael Phillipson has moved on to 20. Scott Henry's on 9. There's a slight delay occurring here while there is a conversation about the ball, I believe. So obviously they've confirmed that it is a ball. And
they're now playing on.
So Josh Arnold's the new bowler. Faced him, Jack?
I reckon I did face him last year. I reckon I might have got out to him too in the 2-day match. So thanks for bringing that up, Greg.
That's all right. I knew that.
It's a really good shot.
Michael Phillipson says, Joshua Arnold, welcome to the crease, have 6. Straight over, long off, beautiful shot. And there it is on the pile of turf soil that was removed. Decades of University #1 oval, Webb Harris oval wicket block there, where they took, must have taken off 3 or 4 inches of soil.
Reeves was saying it's something like 250 mils, something like that. So it was a fair bit.
Yeah.
200 maybe? I can't remember. To leave that up to him, but it's a fair bit, that's for sure.
Let's see what Arnold does in this comeback delivery. Bowls it short. Michael Phillipson gets a little bit of bat on it, and it's 4 down to fine leg.
Yeah, again, probably not the ball to bowl. Short down the leg side when you got fine leg up. Bouncer's got to be going over his right shoulder there, forcing him to hit to deep square.
Somewhat a little bit predictable that you're going to hit a fast bowler over the offside for 6. He's going to come back with a short one. Yeah. Josh, a tall, lean, young, quick. He's decided to put his...
Bring his square leg up and put his mid off back.
So you would suspect that this one's going to be full. You would hope that it's going to be full.
Full outside off. I reckon Michael might give himself some room here.
And it's going to be short. And Michael said, thank you. I'll have 4.
That is
Well,
can only be described as unusual bowling,
yes.
Dave. Very unusual.
What's the skipper saying to his young fast bowler?
He's either missed by 5 metres or he's just gone with the wrong game plan there.
Or he's never bowled to Michael Phillipson before.
That's right. That was bizarre. Bringing up square leg and then bowling a short ball at his head was.
That's right. Well, we did
unusual.
see the Baisley at the other end. James Baisley tries something similar, where he bowled a full-length ball after putting the fieldsman back. So they clearly don't understand that Uni are an educated team. We're no fools. We're not called bookworms for nothing.
I think sometimes in T20 cricket it's okay to be predictable with the fields that you got set, because the batter's still got to take the deep man on if he wants to go over.
That's right. Full length. Phillipson uses that strong bottom hand. It's a race to the boundary. It's going to be a leisurely 2. I must admit, I do enjoy watching the athleticism of Michael running between the wickets as well.
Or lack of.
That's right. Here's a man who absolutely uses the minimum amount of energy to achieve an end result. And that comes from experience.
That's right. He certainly isn't putting in between the wickets.
That's right.
More of a Chris Lynn style running between the wickets, I think. Anything. I did see him backing up once from the umpire, at the umpire's end where the umpire was standing, and didn't even get past the stumps. He had no interest in running.
Arnold again. Phillipson very lustily through forward mid-wicket. Geez, he's strong across his body there. Anything up in the slot.
This has been a big over for Uni. Yeah, you haven't got a lot of room for error when Michael's batting.
So Captain Lee Drinnan's coming down to have a chat to Josh Arnold. Trying to provide the youngster with a bit of advice. Not sure that the plans were particularly good from the get-go, but
Well, he's now brought third man up. Oh no, he hasn't. Sorry. Well, has he? He has. So he's brought third man up. Well, looks like he has. He's now going. No, he's coming back up again.
They've got the 2 out on the boundary at long on.
He just hasn't bowled very well to his field this over. He's had long off and third man, which suggests that he should be bowling full and outside off, but he seems to be going more at the pads and short.
Well, the bottom line is the long boundaries out here. You would have thought that this is where you're going to bowl.
That's right.
Arnold again. Phillips on strike. It's a better delivery. Michael tucks him around the corner. Josh Arnold makes very good ground to do the fielding off his own bowling, running very fast, 20-odd metres. That's the end of a very good over for Uni. Not such a good one for Josh Arnold. Scores moved on to 1 for 59. Phillipson 43 of that 59. Scott Henry happy to play a supporting role. He's on 9. Stark contrast between the Uni batting and Redlands. Uni have been really aggressive. Really, really aggressive. Other than Liam Smith and to a lesser extent Maley, there wasn't much imagination in the Redlands lineup, but Michael Phillipson certainly plays this shorter form well.
Yeah, he's a very good one-day and T20 player and still contributes well in the 2-day cricket, but he's always been very consistent in the one-day and T20 format, especially for a game that can be a bit hit and miss. He seems to hit more than he misses, that's for sure.
So Sumner comes into the attack. Jasper Sumner.
Left arm offie or leggy? Right arm leggy. There you go.
It looks like he's a wrist spinner. Wide down the leg side.
Quite quick through the air.
He is.
Looks like he might just
Quite
slide
tall,
it out of the front of the hand more.
I think he's happy to see Michael Phillipson down at the non-striker's end.
Yes, although it probably works out better for Uni having Scott Henry on
The
strike,
left-hander.
left-hander hitting to the short boundary with the spin. It's a bit unusual that they've had Jack Sinfield bowling right arm towards the short boundary, right arm off spin, and then the leg spinner bowling towards the short boundary with their spin too, but you might think that they bowl the other way from other ends.
Sumner just short of a length, but not giving him any room to move. No run. Scotty Henry on strike.
It's got to be lining up over cow corner potentially here.
On short. Scott Henry
hit
gets...
the umpire. That just cost him 4 there.
That's right. Scott Henry managed to get a really good piece of it, and the umpire has thought he was playing soccer and has stopped it.
That was absolutely racing to the boundary, that one.
Bit
The fielder's missed it, and it's just smashed into the knee of the umpire.
It's a bit disturbed by the umpire's lack of agility there. He needs to... Oh, there's a good shot by Michael Phillips, and it's out into the gap between the two fieldsmen on the long on and mid-wicket boundaries. Comfortable too. And there you can see...
Took a long time to move, didn't he?
He did take a long time, but he does have a bit to move.
I won't pass comment on that.
Sumner again. Drops
Shot.
it short. Phillipson rocks back, punches it through the offside, heading out towards the boundary. Celebrates the boundary with a glove change or interchange. Jeez, I hope he hasn't got a bruised leg because we've used our one bag of ice today.
That's
on
right,
the
on
Will
Will Sanders.
Sanders' ankle. That's right. And that's Michael Phillipson's 50. So great knock. And
It's
he
good that
hasn't
the boys
finished yet.
clapped it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Tucks that one round for 2. And that's the end of the over. So Michael Phillipson on 52. Scott Henry, who's not seen too much of the action for the last couple of overs. He's on 9, and Uni after 6 overs.
1 for 70. Fairly good power play there,
Yeah.
Dave. It's what really you couldn't have asked for a better start, really, could you?
That's right.
Especially chasing a low target, 50 to get with 14 overs to go and 9 wickets in hand. It sets it up nicely for everybody else.
And the little bit of optimism that Redlands would have had at the fall of the Carty wicket has been sucked out of them very quickly.
Yeah, it's been a good knock from Michael. Low risk as well. He hasn't really taken on any fielders. He's hit the ball into the gaps nicely and put away the bad balls. It's been really mature innings.
So Josh Arnold's been relieved of duties at the River End, and it's been long. Coming on, he is a left armour. And he's going to be bowling to skipper Henry. Easy single to Scott as he just taps and runs.
Wily old bowler, long. Comes in, doesn't have a heap of pace, but especially with the red ball, just nibbles it either way a little bit.
And under certain conditions, he could be quite a handful, I'd imagine.
Very much so. We want to get him on a little sticky wicket, green top. Be interesting to see what Michael does here, I reckon.
So he's going to go around the wicket.
I reckon he'll keep going here, knowing Chingy.
There's still a big gap out there in that
Mid-wicket region.
that mid-wicket region where the gaps in the fence are.
Right where your car's parked here.
That's right. Oh, there's a appeal for caught behind.
Given not out. Surely it's given a wide. There we go.
I certainly heard a noise, and it's a wide. There was some noise, I thought. I could hear through the
Just on the
earpiece.
stump mic.
Yeah.
Be interesting to get the replay there and see what. Here we go. Might have taken the glove, you know.
Oh, yes. I reckon
Looked
there's
like it deviated a
little
bit.
bit of glove, and Michael puts his hands up if to say, not me.
Yeah, I reckon might have just got the underside of the glove
Yep.
there, and that's a big 6.
That's a very big 6, and unfortunately for Ben Long, he's had the previous appeal turned down, dropped it a little bit short, next ball, and the ball has been sent into the kindergarten.
Especially like the fact that they celebrated his 50 when he's on 58. So that's brilliant
right.
from the uni boys. So when you're bowling 110 kilometres an hour, it's probably not the place to bowl is back of the length.
No, the whole strategy of the Redlands team has been questionable, to put it mildly.
Probably lucky not to be out the ball before though.
Yeah, certainly looked as though he got a little feather on that. Long again. Full length down the leg side. And it's a wide.
Can be interesting to see the conversation between Long and Drennan and where they're planning on bowling the ball, because they've got fine leg up and he's bowled 3 out of his 4 balls at leg stump or outside, which is interesting. It's better. At least there he's bowling to his field. He's got Long off, deep cover and a third man and 2 ring fielders on the offside, and he's bowled back of a length outside off.
I mean, if there was something to be said, that's one thing. They just have not done well, has it? They've not come out defending 119. They haven't been able to bowl to a plan.
That's right.
They've not bowled to their field. In fact, you could argue a case to say that they actually bowled off
The opposite.
the opposite. Yeah.
Exactly where you wouldn't expect the ball to be bowled. It's been bowled a lot of the time. So whether that's an execution or what they've planned is...
Have to go and check the whiteboard in the dressing room. Long again. Michael Phillipson, that big right hand digs it out. I thought he had got hold of it, but
clubbed that. Did not think that went anywhere.
But it's certainly like a
Skipped
few.
on, hasn't it?
That's right, like a top
Like a
two,
top spin forehand.
or a very badly played 2-iron or 3-iron or something.
That's
like
right.
that. 4 runs to Michael Phillipson. He goes on to 62. Ben Long comes into bowl again. Down the leg side again.
Really poor delivery.
And another boundary to...
It's a wide as well.
Oh, wide down the leg side. This is...
They're not going to plan, Dave, that's for sure.
So the uni scores moved on to 90 after 7 overs, chasing 119 as Ben Long comes in again. That one's full, and it
should
has
be caught.
plundered straight down the throat of the deep long on fieldsman, and
James
Michael
Bailey.
Phillipson is out.
Well caught by James Bailey there down at long on.
Was a good catch. That was certainly motoring, and he had to make some ground to his right, and he took a very safe catch.
Very good innings though from Michael there. Set up the game.
60 off 27, a very, very entertaining knock by Michael Phillipson, and he departs with the score on 90. As we see the replay, Michael hit the shot and said, that looks like the end of me, and heads straight for the pavilion.
The thing about that ball though was that it was outside off, Dave, and it makes it harder for the batter to hit.
Yeah, he's obsessed with that short boundary. So the new batsman is Jarno Kurtzi, he's played some fantastic innings for the club in the shorter form of the game.
Doesn't mind a T20, does he?
Doesn't mind a T10.
Clutch T20 win.
Doesn't mind finishing a game off, Yano. 2 memorable last ball sixes to secure 2 victories that I can think of.
One just last year.
Yeah.
Second last game before
against
the
West.
Chrissy break. That one.
Was that
Well,
against
he got the single here. Well, he helped us win that one too.
Yeah.
But there was also that one against Sandgate where he hit the 6 off the last ball.
That's right.
And the West one in the semi-final, which I think you were commentating on, weren't you?
Down here, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yano Kurtzi, you are a star. That's the line I should have said. It was like Leo Barry.
You're a star.
Yeah. That famous mark for the Sydney Swans. So Ben Long coming into Yano, first ball. Yano off the mark with a very comfortable push into mid-wicket.
Be glad to get off the mark after his duck yesterday.
Primary school teacher at BBC, Yano. Very good teacher as well, from what I hear.
I have heard that. No doubt plenty of his students tuning in this afternoon.
Well, I was about to say, there's one thing about Yano is if you don't get any runs, he'll be reminded about it if school was on
That's right.
Monday morning.
Is this Jack Sinfield coming back on here?
It does look like
Look like it is. I think this is the right end for him to bowl at, to be honest. Wouldn't mind seeing him even coming over the wicket and bowling into the pads of Yano, but coming round the wicket's not too bad too. He's just got to be at his legs here. Good start. Very well bowled. See, Yano likes the leg side. So
He certainly does. Bowled by the
really well bowled. He's been impressive, I reckon.
He's
Dave.
been very good. So he's got a bit of insurance out here on the onside, a deep long on and deep mid wicket.
Really well bowled again.
Not particularly well supported by his fieldsman then.
That's correct.
Made a straightforward piece of fielding looking incredibly complex and difficult.
Looks like he's hard to get away. He doesn't spin the ball a lot, but is very accurate. Oh, well bowled.
That was a real dart.
He's bowling about 105 kilometres an hour, I reckon, but
he's got a reasonably lengthy run up for an off spinner, hasn't he? Sort of builds up a bit of momentum and
yeah. Because I like how he gets over the top of the ball as well.
Yeah.
I think in 2-day cricket that'll hold him in good stead to get a bit of overspin. Hopefully spin the ball a bit more. Obviously you're not really looking to spin it in 1 day cricket.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he's
T20,
like in the longer form, whether he uses a bit of loop.
Well played.
Oh, clever shot by Scott Henry. Just helps it on its way down to the fine leg boundary for 4.
Really smart batting, using the pace of Sinfield to his advantage.
Very nice shot. Into position early. Picked it up early and just helped it on its way.
Shot.
Great shot, Scott Henry. Boundary 6. So the skipper asking a few questions of young Sinfield with those last 2 deliveries after a good start.
By no means 2 poor deliveries. I thought they were pretty good. He's just 2 really good shots, weren't they?
That's right, yeah. You got a bloke who's prepared to use his feet, go down to the pitch and
Get over the top. Makes it hard. Kenyana might be lining up this short square boundary here if Long drops short at all.
leg side again. Easy single for Yano down to fine leg, which brings Scott Henry on strike. Score's moved on to 2 for 103 off 8 overs. The target is 120. You would think that Uni are heading towards a very comfortable victory. Scott Henry getting some very valuable time at the crease as well.
He's been out injured a fair bit this season, so it'd be good for him to have a bit of a hit. We're in a bit shorter
Always
runs.
seems to get finger injuries,
I
doesn't
know.
he?
Fish fingers, we call him now.
That's right.
Chalk fingers. Yeah, he broke his finger early in the year against Valleys, and then actually did his hamstring. So he's
You'll be
he
able to
hasn't
call
had the
him-
best run.
You'll be able to call him Delicatessen.
Old age hidden in, isn't it?
That's what it is. Well, it's normally the calf. So
Yeah,
once
the
the calf
calf.
goes, that's when you
Or
you get the mothballs out, hand out your gear to the young players, and say, "See you later."
I'm done. I think Chicken's done his calf about 10 times, hasn't he? Every game.
Well, that's right. And
Interesting going around the grounds. Gold Coast got 175 against Norse, and Norse are off to an absolute fly. 1 for 111 after
Ooh,
9
geez.
overs. Josh Brown, 64 off 27, so he's absolutely killing it there. It's good for the uni boys. The other game on is the Sunny Coast and West. Sunny Coast ended up making 160, and West are 3 for 96 off 11 overs, so that'll be an interesting one.
very
that one.
evenly poised.
Yeah. Especially with Brendan Smith and John T. Patterson out, who are probably two of their better batsmen. Steve Paulson's still in, so while he's around, they still in with a shot.
He's been around a while, Steve Paulson.
Yeah,
hasn't
has he
Hal?
ever?
He'd
He got close to 40 now, hasn't he?
a miracle of longevity.
Yep. Don't have to do that much work when all you hit is boundaries and field at first slip.
That's playing the classic senior role, isn't it?
That's right. He does whack 'em though, that's for sure.
Yeah, you probably wanted to have the power game rather than being one who pushed the ones and twos at 40 years of age.
Let's just say I don't reckon I'll be playing a 40, that's for sure.
Ben Long drops it short, and Yano finds the gap at deep backward square and comes through for comfortable 2. Be an interesting statistic to know who's been the oldest first grade player ever. Sam Trimble, who was,
How old do you reckon he was?
geez, he seemed like 150 when I started playing, and he was probably 35. But I know he played a long time.
I reckon Spud might be up there. Spud from
Well, Spud also looks 150
with his moustache.
with his moustache. That's right.
I didn't even realise Spud's only like 47 or
Spud
something.
played for Uni.
Yeah, coach uni too.
Yep,
Funny bloke, Spud.
very good, great servant of Queensland cricket,
Very much so.
and writes a very interesting tale for
Yes.
Queensland cricket.
It's called Brisbane Cricket, the page, I think. It's on Facebook.
Sinfield again. Oh,
Going down there, I
appeal
reckon.
for LBW, not out. Scott Henry looking for that vacant deep mid-wicket position. There's only the one person out in that area. He's 4 to square. He's in conversation with a crowd member. The deep long on. Sinfield again.
Jeez, that's quick.
Yeah,
Is that a wide, that one?
it certainly looked
It's got to be close.
healthy. Yeah, I think Spud missed his calling the way he tells the story.
I don't mind listening to him. Been a part of a few games where he's been coached, and he tells some very, very funny stories. So it's a good bloke to have at your club, Spud. Good shot.
Good tennis coach as well. Great shot by Scott Henry. So that takes the score 2.
Played a bit of AFL in his time as well.
Is that right?
I think he played for... Who was it? Who plays out at Toombul Cricket Club?
Main.
Maine. I think he played for Maine.
So the score moves on to 2 for 113. Uni's target is 120. Scott Henry's moved on to 22 by some very, very skillful batting to the young Sinfield. Jarno Curtsey on strike. Try to run him down to that vacant third man position.
Probably not Jarno's go-to shot, that, I don't reckon.
No, given it was a full, I mean, it's vacant area, it was a full pitch. Don't want to get out, do you, with only a handful of runs?
Well, one, it's never nice getting out just before the target, but also as an incoming batsman, there's not much to gain,
That's
is
right.
there?
You can also get out.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a pretty clinical batting performance, to be honest, from the Uni batters so far, with the one hiccup at the start, with Jack Carty getting out in the first over. But apart from that, Michael Phillipson's been superb. Scott Henry's played a good supporting role, and Jarno's just tapped it round really at the end here.
Yeah, no, it has been impressive. Geez, I mean, they're a good side to watch, Jack. When they're hot, there's some really entertaining players, and everyone has a role. And the thing I've been impressed about this team over the last couple of seasons that I've watched them closely is that there is a plan. There's certainly a plan A and there's a plan B, but there's some really smart cricketers as well. And
I think that's the advantage of having 4 or 5 old blokes as well. It makes a big difference in your side, and it's probably what a lot of other grade teams lack, to be honest, is some older blokes. I know in the last few years, I reckon there's been, as Basley comes back on, there's been a fairly big drop-off in maybe the older blokes playing, especially in second grade as well. I remember when I first started out, there'd be 3 or 4 older blokes who'd kind of help out the younger guys. I remember when I played, it was Bill Tuffley, Brendan Logue.
Yep.
Tom Tuffley was kind of finishing up at that point. And there was a few others as well. But it seems like there's only really young guys playing.
Well, I mean,
second grade at the moment.
You look at some of the clubs around, like just thinking of Souths, for example, who've been down the bottom of the ladder for the last couple of seasons and are again this year. It's they're just putting out young blokes who are getting beaten every week. It's, and they've had changes of coaching staff. I mean, the longevity of particular people at Uni Cricket Club in the last 10 or 20 years has contributed to a really healthy culture.
Yeah, definitely. And the old guys like to play because, one, you've got good young cricketers coming through, but they love the culture and the mateships that they have. So it gives them a reason to keep playing, where I think this is
If
what
you're down
I've
the
heard
bottom
from
of the
other
ladder,
clubs. It doesn't, it doesn't bode well. But yeah, having, as I've said plenty of times, having people like Scott Henry, who's played 60 first-class matches, Michael Phillipson, who's played a fair few, Scott Walter,
He should have played a lot more than what he did.
That's right, and Frizy as well, who's played a bit of second 11 cricket and is a very experienced first grader. It all makes a big difference, and it makes a big difference for the young guys coming through too.
It's going to be an interesting, as we're talking about the senior players who've got married and are starting to have children, whether the generational change that is inevitable in any club can be managed such that we don't lose all the senior players at once.
Yeah, that's right. I think that'll be the big thing in the next 2 to 3. Oh, that's well bowled.
Yeah.
No ball though, front foot maybe. I think that'll be the big thing in the next 2 to 3 years is how that goes, and hopefully still keeping a few of the older blokes to be around the group and
that's right, yes,
and support while the young guys come through. I think we've got some really good young players. We've got Will Sanders, Matt Willens, Max Clayton, and also some other ones that are coming through second grade now are Harry Walker, who's obviously going to take over Frizy's role when he's done.
That's right, because you don't want those guys leaving your club to pursue opportunities
No, that's
elsewhere.
right.
Scott Henry gets hold of that short ball and dispatches it to the deep backward square boundary. Great shot by Scott. And that is victory to Uni. Very comfortable victory in the end, chasing a target of 120 for victory. Uni have passed that total with 2 wickets down, and all in all, a very, very professional performance, Jack.
Yeah, good performance, clinical with the bat. Started off pretty well with the ball, particularly those middle overs. Probably dropped off a little bit towards the end, but overall, that's all you can really ask for. Good percentage booster for the boys, so hopefully we can get into the semi-finals now.
Yeah, so we'll be watching the results, in particular that game between Norths and Gold Coast and Wests and the Sunshine Coast.
I can give you an update right now. So Norths are 3 for 124. Josh Brown just got out. But you'd still think they're in the box seat there to win, really, with Nathan McSweeney and Sam Wilson in at the moment. And they're chasing 175. And Wests are now 4 for 106. Paulson's still in. That's off 13 overs. So it's going to be a close one. 55 off 7 they need. So it's going to be tough.
That is a tough chase.
Tough
Okay,
chase.
well, thanks very much, John, and thanks very much, Jack. Just repeating, big win to the Uni boys here at Webb Harris Oval today. University 2 for 120 have beaten the Redlands Tigers 119. The star of the day was Michael Phillipson with a very nice 63, well supported by his captain Scott Henry. Good all-round bowling performance by the Uni attack, and all in all a good day's job. So until we find out about the semis, fingers crossed, hope that the Uni boys can get into the semis for another year. All the
All right,
best.
thanks for
and
having me, Greg.
Thank you.
Cheers.